I will convene the quarterly update meeting of the TDD Steering Committee, and following the agenda, I will welcome everyone who's present, and I would ask David to read the roll to establish a quorum. And in so doing, when you answer affirmatively, if you could also indicate by way of introduction the identity of your appointing authority. So I would hand things over to David to accomplish that task.
Thank you, Dave. First, there would be AJ Monroe. We know him from Portage, who is not with us today. Hence, Dave is chairing the meeting. It's Trent McCain. Are you here?
Good morning, all. Trent McCain with the City of Gary.
Excellent. Brian Poland.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, and that would be Hammond. Deborah Gritters.
Hello, Deborah Gritters, East Chicago City Planner.
Thank you. Scott Kingen. Okay. Michael Berry. I did see Michael on the list. He might have had to drop off. Or he might be muted. Skylar York. Tim Corcoran.
I'm here.
Thanks, Tim. That's South Bend.
Yeah, sorry, South Bend, yeah.
No problem. Beth Schrader.
Hello, everyone. Beth Schrader, planner and transit director for Valparaiso.
Thanks, and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Scott Jefferson.
Scott Jefferson, Town of Dyer.
Excellent. Leanne Melton.
Leanne Mellon, hi, everybody, Town of Munster, Town Council.
Thanks, Leanne. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
And John Blackburn.
Hi, everyone. John Blackburn, Beverly Shores Town Council.
Excellent. All right, that's the roll, Mr. Chairman, and we do have a quorum.
Well, thank you, David. And I should have introduced myself. I'm Dave Hollenbeck, and I'm the attorney for the RDA, and I'm your acting chairperson this morning, and AJ Monroe's absence. This next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from your May 17th, 2023 meeting. Do I have a motion to that effect?
Mr. Chairman, this is Trent McCain. I move to approve.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor indicate such by saying aye.
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 Hi.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the minutes from the May 17th, 2023 meeting are deemed approved. Item 3 on the agenda is an RDA update on rail projects.
Thanks, Dave. I will just give a quick overview of where we stand at this point. Normally, we'd ask Vince from KPMG, but he's on a plane at the moment, so hopefully he is having a safe and comfortable flight. In the meantime, as you can see, both projects continue to move forward. Over on Westlake, they are about 88% complete on the design. What they have left are the operating systems, some retaining walls, and the final design on some of the major bridges. Construction continues to progress and is about a third complete. And we're still on track for a May 2025 substantial completion date, with revenue service projected to start the following year. And then over on the double track side, again, we're about 2/3 of the way finished with construction. You've got work going on west of Dune Park and east of Dune Park, mostly complete, but west of Dune Park is going on. We have design work largely complete on the garage at Michigan City's 11th Street Station. Over in Gary, I was just by there the other day. Looks absolutely amazing. The exterior work on the station house is largely complete. There's a roof on the structure. Just looks fantastic overall. The projects in the Portage Ogden Dunes parking lot and the east parking lot are complete. And again, we're on track for that January 2024 completion. Though I think in that case that might go to February so that they can cut the ribbon on that one on Mike Nolan's birthday. So that's my report on the current state of the rail projects. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them.
Are there any questions? Hearing none, we will move on to item 4 in the agenda. And that's the TDD boundary update that I'm sure Aaron is prepared to give us.
Thank you, everyone. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Good to see you all today in this virtual world. So update on boundaries. We've continued to move forward with working with the local units. So Dave, if you want to please advance the slide. Maybe go back one, sorry. There we go. We are continuing to collaborate with the communities that have established boundaries. So kind of over this spring and summer, we've been providing technical assistance. We've been helping a number of communities answer questions about the TDD boundaries. We've seen a number of potential developers come to the table. We've provided that information to the local units, and in some cases kind of been helpful with the local units in answering those questions. We're still working to set up some review meetings for the MOAs as well as developer process guides. Stay tuned for that. And increment will begin being collected next year. So that's the update on boundaries that are already established. Next slide, please. Then ones that we are working to establish. So in general, Hammond South, Gary Metro, and Dune Park. We are still working towards completing those boundaries yet this year. And Valparaiso, we had a kickoff meeting last week, and we're looking to wrap that one up in 2024. So where we are in the process right now, we are collaborating with the 3 communities on drafting the boundaries. We are getting close to being able to have the public engagement sessions to collect public feedback as well as inform the public. Then we'll be working with the local units to make changes to those boundaries based on that input and other feedback from them. And then this fall, we are still on track to do the first and second RDA public hearing and get this in front of State Budget Committee by the end of the year. So that's the plan we're working to with the first 3. And then for Valpo, next spring, we'll be tackling all those items. Next slide, please. And just graphically kind of the steps that go into this. So as we're drafting the boundary, collaborating with NICD, collaborating with the community, looking at different documents, as well as doing our own analysis, looking at sites, going on tours, understanding infrastructure needs, and then really mapping those out. A lot of this work is also being informed by the TOD study, which we've wrapped up, as well as in the case of Hammond South, the kind of prior TOD study that was done as part of the Westlake a few years back. Then once we get that public feedback, we'll revise the boundary. We've already kind of been working behind the scenes with a couple of the communities on this. Public engagement sessions, as I mentioned, are upcoming very soon. And then we'll be on track to get those RDA hearings done and get it over to the state for review. Next slide, please. Specifically, and this is kind of a preview of the Dune Park boundary draft that we shared with their council. So as we're looking at this specific one, we've been working with them over the summer to kind of get the boundary drafted. We did present on the 8th at a town council informational session. So we were able to kind of explain what a TDD was, as well as the process to the council, obtain some feedback there, as well as talk with several plan commissioners. We have that public engagement session scheduled for August 31st at the town hall in the town of Porter at 6 p.m. Then we'll be working in September on boundary edits and anticipate getting that in front of the board in October and November, and then in front of the state budget committee towards the end of the year. And you can see the boundary that we're showing here captures the Dune Park Station, follows Indiana 49, captures kind of the areas around US 20. This avoids anything that's state park, national park, wetland, or floodplain. So these are areas that the town, as part of their comprehensive planning process, is identified as potentials for development that would be in support of increased ridership and transit development within these areas. So that's why you kind of see the areas in green included on the map. So we've had a great time working with the town. They've been really good to work with. I know Michael Berry's not on the call today. Or I guess Michael is on the call today. Hey,
I'm
Michael.
on. I just had trouble unmuting.
Got it. And so we look forward to that public engagement session and continue to collaborate with the town. Next slide, please. We are not sharing out kind of the draft boundaries for these other ones because they're kind of still being massaged, but we've been working really closely with City of Gary, and I see Deputy Mayor McCain on the call here. Hi, Deputy Mayor. Really appreciate all the feedback from city staff to date. We've got a couple more work sessions upcoming. And so we're continuing to massage that boundary in a way to also kind of work towards a September public engagement session, and then that October and November public hearing, and then trying to wrap that one up by the end of the year. And again, this is focused on the downtown area where we've conducted the TOD study. Slide, please. And then Hammond South is kind of the other ongoing area here with the 2023 target. So we've been meeting closely with City of Hammond officials. Brian Poland, I believe, is on the call today. Hi, Brian. Appreciate all the feedback and collaboration we've gotten so far from the City of Hammond. We're continuing to kind of dial in on different sites and doing further analysis around those sites to really narrow down that boundary. And this is following the same schedule as the Gary downtown boundary. And then next slide. Valpo, we don't have a map to share yet, but we had a wonderful walking tour with Beth and City of Valpo staff and officials. Last week, there's an image from the tour. We have a lot of ideas. We talked with city officials about pushing kind of the TDD boundary for that one, getting started now through the process, but really trying to get that boundary established in 2024. So that would likely be early 2024 RDA board hearings and state budget committee approval. Any questions on these?
John Blackburn from Beverly Shores. Aaron, I really don't want to forget the town of Beverly Shores. I think the biggest obstacle we've been having is we feel we need to have the town of Pines on board. And I know we've had no success in kind of reaching out to them. And I think you guys have had no success in reaching out to them. But I do know that elections both in Beverly Shores as well as in Pines will occur in November. And so maybe with a change of leadership, we might be able to get Pines involved, because our gut is if we don't get Pines involved, so the possibilities of getting sewers down 12, it makes development in our area pretty difficult. And, and thus a TDD or TOD would be almost, I hate to use the word impossible, but it's really, I think, contingent on moving forward the strategy of getting Pines involved in ways of then coming up with strategies for potentially getting a sewer down 12. So maybe we could be in that 2024 with Valpo.
Yeah, the 2024 group, since we're, going to be doing that with Valpo anyways, I think that makes a lot of sense. The other thing we were discussing is that there may be some TDDs that have been established in 2024, or I'm sorry, already. And we may have some communities that approach the RDA about expanding those too. So I think that's a great idea. Dave Wellman, let's put something on our calendars, maybe for right after the election, to reach back out to Pines. And we could try to get the ball rolling on that again, John. Appreciate that feedback.
Yeah, and I do want to let you know that our we did approve our comprehensive plan, and it does include working with the RDA to create a TDD. So it's part of our comprehensive plan, and we're a fair amount of the community, I would say, would be supportive. But once again, we kind of feel without that Pines involvement, it really does make it complicated.
Can you send Dave Wellman and I the comp plan now that it's done?
Yes, I'll be happy to.
Thank you. Next slide, please, Dave. So we're going to talk a little bit about implementation planning. I know I've been collaborating with many of you. So we are kind of at a point where the TOD project that of course was funded by the FTA grant is kind of in the final stages. I've had communication with both towns of Munster and Dyer this week that they are wrapping up comments, and we will be addressing those so that we can finalize those plans, make sure that kind of their elected and appointed officials are happy with those recommendations. So we look forward to that. We've received final feedback from the other communities that we've done kind of the deep dives on. And really the only in-process task is there was some dollars allocated for one of our engineers. So we're collaborating with them on putting together some work in collaboration with the city of Gary, informing kind of property conditions in the downtown area around Senate Bill 434. So, and Deputy Mayor, we should be kind of getting some cost estimate numbers back from Shrewsbury towards the end of this month. So stay tuned on that.
Will do. Thank you.
And then the only other thing I had to report is Dave Wellman and I have been working on a number of nwitdd.com websites. So the new communities we're doing TDD boundaries for, we're adding tabs and content for those. As you know, those plans are also finalized. We're working to add those to the RDA's website. So continue to look at that as a clearinghouse. The other thing that's been added to the website recently is a kind of interactive map of the TDD boundaries and the sites inventoried as part of the TDD boundaries that have been established. So members of the community at large, as well as members of the development community, can zoom in and out of those maps and understand kind of areas that are in those boundaries. So that's a resource for the public as well. Mr. Chair, turn it back over to you.
Oh,
Go ahead, Leanne. I'm sorry.
So, Adam,
sorry, Leanne Mellon from Munster. Aaron, I just wanted to make a request. You had mentioned, sometimes you mention that you've shared information with the towns and you're waiting feedback. And I'm just, last time we had a meeting, you had referenced the TOD, like the draft plans, and the council had not seen that yet. And I just want to make sure, I'm sure it works differently in every town, but any communication you send out, including, you mentioned that developers have come forward and you've shared that with the town. I don't know if that includes Munster, but going forward, any communication that you send to the town should be to everyone on the council. And if you want to send it to the town manager too, that's fine, but not just solely staff, because the council oversees the town manager. So
Understood.
Thank you.
Leanne, do you need me to resend the TOD plan to you all? I know we had sent that earlier this summer, but I'm happy to resend a link so it's kind of close in your inbox.
No, I have it. Yeah.
Okay.
I've requested a couple times that we have a work study and trying to get that date on the calendar.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that update and that information. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
any other questions of Adam? Adam, thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item 6, Chicago Valpo Transit Center update, and we turn to Beth.
Hello, all. We are heavy into construction right now on the redevelopment of what Journeyman is calling the American Factory Building. So the transit center is in the smaller of two buildings. Journeyman has a number of punch list items they're working on right now in anticipation of opening. Latest date is third week of October. And we expect that the transit office will be open to the public shortly thereafter, sometime this fall. So there's a lot going on there, and we're looking forward to everything being open soon.
Well, welcome in joining us, Beth.
Thank you.
Any questions of Beth regarding the Chicago Valpo Transit Center update? Hearing none, I will exercise my prerogative to move on to agenda item 7. Next steps and questions. Any thoughts on next step? Or David, do you want to add anything about other than maybe when our next meeting is?
I think that's all I really had. As noted on the screen, the next meeting is November 15th. If there's any follow-up to this meeting that anybody thinks of after we are done, feel free to contact me and I'll be happy to help out.
Well, that's gracious of you. Thank you. Anything else for the good of the cause?
Dave, you have in the past been so kind as to provide a link to the recording. If you could continue to do that, I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
Hearing no other inquiries, as the chair, I will entertain a motion to adjourn this august body.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, stand up and go home.
Have a great afternoon, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good
Bye-bye.
day.
Bye.
Yep.